physically healthy, mentally healthy, spiritually healthy, and then financially healthy. That more money just amplifies who you are. Indian people can be very cheap, where you can use your money as a tool to make you and attract you more money.
What would you say the three biggest myths about money that you've debunked over your time of learning about money, that maybe you grew up thinking it was one way, like you were talking about loans and banks and all these different things? What are three myths about money that you've found out were not true?
Well, the first thing that I would say, I don't know if it's a myth, but I would say that the first thing everyone has to understand is what money is. And I don't mean in terms of in terms of wealth, but like money is just paper. It doesn't make you a good person. It doesn't make you a bad person. It's paper. And we talk about all these insecurities people have with money. I grew up being told, don't talk about money. Don't worry about money. Don't stress about money. Yeah, here I am seeing my parents work their butt off every single day. So
trying to make money.
And it doesn't make sense. How am I supposed to not worry about money? And you want me to become a doctor because you read those, if you go to those career fairs, they show you the different careers, right? And doctor is always number one, the highest income. So why am I doing this if it's because of the income instead of because I love it or do something that I love? Why not?
Or because I want to help people.
Yeah.
You want to save lives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is if you understand money, you become financially educated, you're willing to talk about it. Well, now you can be financially stable doing whatever you want. And you can follow something you love and still be financially okay, because we assume that you have to have this in order to make money. You have to have this job in order to make good money. You have to have this career if you want to be financially stable. But that's a complete lie.
Yeah.
But that goes down to not us being willing to talk about money. And I talked about this in our last interview. But money is one part of our lives. And the reason why people are scared to talk about it is because we're insecure about it. And that's because we don't understand how money plays a part in our lives. It's one aspect. I say that there's four. You have to be physically healthy, mentally healthy, spiritually healthy, and then financially healthy. If you're not financially healthy, well, it can make everything else much more miserable because you can't pay your bills. But if you're financially healthy, you're rich, but you have nothing else, more money just makes you more miserable. So you need to live a holistic life and understand how money plays a part in your life. That way, the finances can have the biggest power. And then you understand that more money just amplifies who you are. It's like fire. It's like fuel. It fuels your fire. If you're a good person and you have more money, you have a tool to do more good. If you're a bad person and you have more money, you have a tool to do more bad. Yeah. Just why we need more good people with money.
Exactly.
How do we do that?
Well, yeah,
get educated.
A lot of people just say that money exposes who you really are.
Exactly.
It amplifies who you are. Right. So people can see, whether you're that good person or a bad person or whatever it might be in between. But first off, understanding what money is what you had to learn. It's kind of like this thing. What else around understanding it would you say?
So
maybe you thought it was one thing, but then you realized it was something else.
Exactly. So now that's money. The second thing is, how do you use money and value money? Because I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible, but traditionally Indian people can be very cheap. Okay? And, I grew up seeing this. And what does that mean? It means that the traditional Indian house is a save-heavy culture. And I can say that because I've seen this and I grew up in that, where you make $1 to spend 20 cents. And the traditional American culture is you make $1 to spend $2, right? And so it's a save-heavy culture. So you're spending as little money as possible to save it. Now, obviously we talked about inflation, so I'm not going to mention what that means with savings. But what I'm talking about here is you can use your money as a tool. And this is what wealthy people do, because now what do they do with their money? You use your money to buy your time back. Because what so many of us do is we're exchanging our hours for dollars. You go to work every single day and you get paid. But what are wealthy people doing? They're not working just to use their money as a way to buy hours. They're using the money to buy their time back.
Yes.
Because now you can build things and build processes and invest your money, because now you can use your money as a tool instead of as a fool. That's what I like to say. But this is where it's how do you now use your money to make your life better?
Yeah.
And you don't want to be now just buying a whole bunch of Gucci and Louis Vuitton. It's now actually improving your life. And
not to make your life look better, but to actually improve it from the inside out.
Yeah. So the simplest example would be you start a YouTube channel. We talked about buying a camera. Well, one thing that you could do is you can hire a video editor. You go on a freelance site, hire a freelance video editor, and now what are you doing? You can spend more time making more videos instead of spending all of your time editing the content. So you can focus on your time. You can hire someone to mow the lawn. You bought your time back. You can hire somebody to help get you your groceries. You buy your time back. It costs money. You have to spend money in order to do that. But you're getting something in an exchange. And now you're buying your time back, so you can use your money as a tool. And you can use your money as a tool to buy your time back, or you can use your money as a tool to make you and attract you more money. That's what wealthy people do. And so you want to be able to use money in that way. The third thing would be now to really, I know I talk about this a lot, but you have to understand the difference between something that makes you money and something that loses you money.
And that's a liability, yeah.
A liability. And
what are the main liabilities that people spend on today?
The way you look, man. We have this Instagram flex culture,
yes.
right? And it is very toxic if you do not know how to use it.
And unless you're investing your money wisely and you've got excess money and you're like, okay, I want to buy some stuff to flex, cool. But
there's
if you're not
wrong.
investing your money,
yeah,
and you're just spending it on clothes and watches and shoes,
if you
look good,
if you got the name brand stuff, but you got no savings, you got no investments, you're doing something wrong. Your priorities are in the wrong place. What are you doing? You're making Gucci rich. You're making Louis Vuitton rich. You're making all these companies rich, but you're keeping yourself broke. When I talked about my watch, I spent $1,000 on a watch. I had no investments. I don't even know what an investment was at the time. I didn't realize I could have taken that $1,000 and invested it into a watch company and get a share of the profits. But that's what wealthy people are doing, and they understand that. And there's nothing wrong with spending money. There's nothing wrong with having luxuries. There's nothing wrong with having the nice things.
Yes.
But it's a matter of when can you actually afford it. You have to know when the right time is for you to have it, because you want to first make yourself rich and then, blow. If you can afford it, do whatever you want.
Grant Cardone was always talking about how he doesn't spend money on the cash he makes to buy watches or things. He only spends money on the watches and clothes and things on the passive income.
That's great.
From his investments.
You take the earned income, you're working every single day. You take this income and you use as much of that as possible to invest into assets. The assets pay you, live off of the assets, because now those assets don't need you to go to work every single day to get paid. So if you break your leg and you can't get paid, you're not getting that earned income, but that active, the passive income from your assets still coming in. And now if that's the money you're living off of, you are free. Your earned income is just buying you more assets. And so how do you start that, right? And so this is where you have to kind of build some sort of system for yourself. And the rule that I would always say is follow something like my rule of 5. If you can't buy 5 of them, you can't afford 1 of them.
Yeah.
So it's, you want to buy a $1,000 phone, you want to buy a $1,000 watch. Okay, fine. Can you buy 5 of them? And if you don't have the ability to buy 5 of them, if you can't afford to do that, then you can't afford 1. If you can't buy 5, you can't afford 1. And then you want to create a system, like a system that automates your finances, where now you have something going on with your money that is putting your money to work no matter what. And so one of the easiest things, you can create your own, is to follow something like a 75-15-10 plan, which means that for every dollar you earn from now on, 75 cents is the maximum you can spend, 15 cents is the minimum you're investing, and 10 cents is the minimum that you're saving. Now the savings is, you want to build somewhere between 3 and 12 months worth of savings if you want to have that protection. 3 months if you don't have a lot of liability, a lot of responsibilities, you don't have all that going on, and you have a high risk tolerance. 12 months if you want to play it safe. You figure out what's right for you. After you filled your savings, you fill up the savings. You don't want to put any more money into it, because now you're just being eaten away by inflation.
Yes.
Right? The savings is not there to make you wealthy. It's there just to protect you against an emergency. Then what you do is you take the money, you put it into your investments. And now you just keep investing money. Now what happens is, as you grow your income, you don't change this ratio. So if you go from $40,000 a year to $400,000 a year, you keep the same ratio, and you're still investing first, and then you keep saving your money, and then you know how much you can spend, because now what you're doing, which is what wealthy people do, is you invest before you spend. The way that the finances look for the majority of people is you make money, you pay taxes, you spend your money, and then you wonder where your money went. Well, wealthy people do, right? Wealthy people are, you make money.
Especially in California.
It's $7 gas and high taxes. But what wealthy people are doing is you make money, and then depending on how you make it, either you pay taxes first or after, ideally after, because there are ways to do that legally. But you make money, and then you want to invest as much as possible, and then you spend whatever's left. So wealthy people invest and spend what's left, while the majority of people spend and invest whatever's left.
Here's one that I think a lot of people do, and I think it hurts them in a big way. How does someone not make their net worth attached to their self-worth?
That's a good one.
Meaning, how do they believe in themselves, have confidence have, love for themselves when they're not making that much. Maybe they're in a transition. Maybe they lost their job. Maybe they're just starting out.
Sure.
And how do they also, when they start making some cash, not tie their bank account number to their self-worth?
So when you fail at something, you don't become a failure as a person. You failed at a task. And in order to become successful at something, you have to fail at a lot of tasks. And so the first thing you have to understand that about yourself is that just because something didn't work, just because you failed at something does not mean that you are a failure. Maybe you failed at a task. I failed at a ton of things. I'm sure you have too. You have to screw up a lot. And that's how you find the good. So now when it comes to net worth, if you want to be completely honest, your net worth is pretty useless. It's a worthless number. It means nothing. It means less than nothing, because what is net worth? It's a paper number. If I have $1 million net worth in the stock market today, tomorrow it could be worth 400,000. It doesn't, if you are valuing your life, and even worse, if you are spending based off of your net worth, you're living a very dangerous life. And some people do